Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very, very accomplished professional and author from Hyderabad, India, Mr. Nikhil Chaudhary. Nikhil, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ashutosh. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Nikhil is a world-renowned nutritionist and speaker. He's an author, and all of you know I'm very partial to authors. So he's an author of a book titled The Burning Solution. And Nikhil has a mission of creating 1 million health epicenters, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So Nikhil, before we start talking about your book and nutrition, tell me a little bit about your own journey.
So I am basically a Marwadi, born in a business family. And like all Marwadis, I had an ambition of becoming the next, Ambani, Adani, and have a lot of money and spend a lot of money. But there was a very big turn in my life when I lost my dad. And then I realized that I didn't have any dreams of my own. Everything I dreamt of was for him. I wanted him to have a big house, him to have a lot of luxuries, him to travel the world and stuff. So I was in a lot of pain. And at that time, I realized that the only way to alleviate this pain was to help other people in pain. With very little meager resources, whatever I had, I jumped into this opportunity of helping people with the knowledge base. And then I started realizing that the entire education background of mine was BTech biotechnology. And the more I tried to search for answers in genetics, I always found that it was always the biochemistry of your lifestyle that actually mattered the most. The more deeper I tried to find solutions in DNA, it always pointed out that DNA is only enabler of what the body actually wants. But what the body wants will be decided by the type of food you eat, the kind of exercise you do, the kind of lifestyle you live, whether you sleep on time, whether you wake up on time, and whether you are happy, whether you are sad, and all those things. The moment I started helping people with, simple problems like diabetes, hypertension, I call them very simple because when you do certain changes, you know the outcome that it is going to get reversed, right? So when I started helping people with these things, I received a case of last stage cancer. So we worked on her. It was only with diet that over a period of almost a year, we could see that the cancer had reduced.
Wow.
And when I wanted to present that case study, they said that, your paper is good, everything is accepted, but the platform is big and you are only a graduate. You're not even like, from the field of diet and nutrition. So then I took my next step of taking my master's degree in dietetics and becoming a proper dietitian.
Wow.
So I think it was chosen for me rather than me choosing the field. And it's been almost about 13 years now that I got into this journey. The best part about my journey is that I don't run any ads. I've never done a single ad. And I have worked with patients in 43 countries, and all of these patients have come through word of mouth.
Amazing. Amazing. So
That's
Nikhil, you also have a mission of creating 1 million health epicenters.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is an epicenter and what are you doing to achieve your mission?
So when I started this journey, my idea was social work. And at some point, I started understanding after 7 years of giving this service free that I need to monetize it. Otherwise, I will not be able to, sustain. And I will have to look for other avenues and businesses. So I will not be able to devote myself. But when I started monetizing it, when I started charging people for my consulting, I still had an agenda that, it cannot be a money making machine. I don't want it to become like, you have a patient and you keep them forever, right? So I came up with an idea. Of course, it cannot be applied to cancer patients, but for all the other diseases, I have a clear agenda that I will not take a patient for more than 3 months, maximum 4 months. Within these 3 to 4 months, the patient must heal themselves and also learn how they healed. So I even take classes for a lot of my patients. And I explain the agenda behind everything, like what they are doing, why they are doing, what they are not supposed to do, why they are not supposed to do. The idea is very simple that after they stop the consulting, they should not depend on any doctor, any dietitian, or any drugs.
Right.
They should have learned everything, and they should be empowered with the knowledge that they can take their health in their control without the support of anybody else.
Hmm.
And once they are in that stage, they should at least help people around them, their
Hmm.
immediate family, their immediate friend circle, colleagues, whomever, to whatever extent they can. And
Correct.
it is not about getting me patients, it is about them giving that advice,
Hmm.
right? So when they reach that stage, I call them a health epicenter. It is
Okay.
like the epicenter of an earthquake, right? It ripples, right?
Right.
The epicenter of waves, it ripples. So whatever extent you can, you try to spread that knowledge,
Hmm.
and that I call as a health epicenter. And my mission is to create 1 million such health epicenters, and I think I'm doing quite a good job at that.
Hmm.
So a lot of
Fantastic.
my patients have achieved it. Some of my patients are now taking up courses in dietetics and becoming dietitians. So
Amazing.
that's a big achievement for me.
Hmm. Hmm. And what you're hoping is that as you start building out more and more concentric circles of epicenters, each of them will then be able to encourage more people.
Correct. So I think if you see, I think even if we have 1 million health epicenters who are rippling this effect, it will still not suffice for the world.
Correct.
Right? If I want to, if I have a mindset like, that I get all the patients, I get a lot of money, I do this, I
Hmm.
don't think that I can change the world, right?
Hmm.
When my patients say that, sir, it is because of you that I got better, I say, no, it's not because of me, it's because of you. If
Hmm.
I could do it, I would do it for the whole world, right?
Hmm.
So the idea is to create such more and more people who can spread this knowledge.
Hmm. And you also mentioned, that there are, if you manage your diet well, you can manage lifestyle diseases like heart and diabetes. Is that something that is really workable, or is it sustainable in the long run?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the idea of, reversing heart diseases by diet is not new. It's more than 30 years old. It has been
Hmm.
experimented, proven by, like, doctors in America, all over the world, like
Hmm.
thousands of cases have
Hmm.
happened already, right?
Hmm.
Diabetes is very, very simple, actually. I mean, if you look at my social media, I don't even brag about it. I
Hmm.
only talk about some very specific cases of cancer, which are very, very difficult, very crucial to treat. Diabetes is something like, okay, I know that if I'm going to do this, then this is going to be the outcome. There is nothing new about it.
Hmm.
There is nothing unexpected or something, heroic about it,
Hmm.
right? If you look at liver cases, right, fatty liver, it has become so common, and you need to understand that liver is such a central organ that if
Hmm.
liver is not working fine, then your system will not work fine, your immunity will not work fine, everything will go haywire, right?
Hmm.
And yet almost, let's say, 50% of the urban population may be suffering from fatty liver, right?
Hmm.
The thing is, it takes a lot of effort and consistent effort to destroy the liver.
Hmm.
Okay. But if you put a little bit of effort,
Hmm.
very little effort,
Hmm.
your liver actually regenerates and it gets better.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look at the healing, healing is easier than actually creating a mess out of your body. So
Hmm.
if you talk about sustainability, I think it is very easy to sustain a good health. It doesn't mean that you have to become a saint. It doesn't mean that you have to leave everything. The concept of diet is overrated, actually.
Hmm.
Okay, when you ask about diet, the problem is people always think about exclusion.
Hmm.
Okay, people think that they need to stop all the whites, they need to stop drinking milk, they need to stop drinking alcohol, they need to stop smoking, they need to stop taking packaged food, they need
Hmm.
to stop taking processed food, they cannot go out, socialize, everything.
Hmm.
It is true to an extent,
Hmm.
okay, but that is not necessary to be the first step,
Hmm.
right? The first step is always supposed to be inclusions. What
Right.
are the healthy things you should eat must be included first. Exclusion can be the second step,
Hmm.
right? So sustainability is always like, it's very easy if you understand this simple concept.
Hmm.
Go for inclusion first, exclusion will always come later,
Hmm. Very
right?
interesting. Very interesting. And well, since we're talking nutrition, let's first talk of nutrition and then we'll come to your book. But I remember reading somewhere that the word diet has the word die in it. And the word death has eaten it.
Right.
Right? What is the meaning of eating right?
So if you talk about eating, right, it is central to the entire, not just humanity, but I would say the entire animal kingdom or
Correct.
even the plant kingdom, right? Everything revolves around eating.
Hmm.
We hunt for eating, we gather for eating, we socialize for eating, we stabilize and settle down for eating. Like, farming was the only reason that
Hmm.
we had settled lives and things like that, right? Today, if you want to meet a friend, you will always go to either a coffee shop or a restaurant. If you want to meet with family, you will have some, savories and sweets and, so many dishes laid out, right? If you have a marriage, you have, everything revolves around food. So food is central to everything.
Hmm.
Okay. And trying to, cut it out, or trying to, be very, very stringent, and to be very, very, what do I say? You
Not,
cannot be, sorry.
I said not eat enough or not eat whatever you're saying.
Yeah. So you cannot lay out such rules where you fall out of the society, right?
Hmm.
So the idea is that when you talk about nutrition, the most important thing is to give good nutrition to your body, in terms of, like, you need to have all the vitamins, minerals, fiber, everything.
Hmm.
And in once in a while, if you're taking some junk food or sweets or fried food, you're not going to get killed,
Hmm.
right? And also, you need to be very careful about some practices. For example, people say fasting is good, which is okay, but your body must be prepared for it,
Hmm.
right? If you look at people who have acidity, who have constipation, who are very lean and thin, right, for them fasting is not good. And
Hmm.
even if you're doing it, you need to do it with a lot of understanding. Okay. You skip your breakfast because you wake up late and you have to rush to the office. That is not intermittent fasting,
Hmm.
right? So when you talk about nutrition, you need to understand that, first thing, if you have taken one junk meal, it doesn't spoil your day. It is just a
Hmm.
meal. Okay. What is more important is, like, people, when they go out party, the next day they want to do fasting to maintain the calories, right? Calorie counting is again not nutrition.
Hmm.
Okay. What you need to understand is, you need to eat more of healthy food if you have eaten something unhealthy. That
Hmm.
is how you clean out your system. Okay. And I think some basic practices, if you are able to inculcate, like, you eat some very good quantity of vegetables, you eat some raw seeds and nuts, which give you good quality of fat. If
Hmm.
you take beans and lentils and legumes whole, you get good quality protein with a lot of minerals and fiber.
Hmm.
Avoid processed and polished grains, you take them whole. Okay. If you just stick to these some practices, some fruits, okay. And apart from that, if you're taking junk also in once in a while, you will have a very, very healthy lifestyle. You will not face any problems. So
Thank you. Great response. I think my viewers and listeners would love this comment, about how important it is to be able to eat everything, but in moderation. Uh, my next question to you is that are there differences in the diets for men and women?
yes, I think the way human beings have been designed, it is
Hmm.
very different for men and women. If you just look at a simple example of men, okay, it's very common to see men getting heart attack in their 30s and 40s, right?
Hmm.
But women don't, even if they put on a lot of weight, right? A lot has to do with the hormone levels. But if you try to philosophize this, the entire thing, the entire science, into a philosophy,
Hmm.
if woman is in their reproductive age,
Hmm.
okay, nature has somehow given them some kind of immunity over men.
Hmm.
Okay, you eat whatever you want, you put on weight, you have more capacity to put on fat and things like that, and yet you will not get diabetes, you will not have a heart attack and things like that.
Hmm.
Okay. As soon as they reach menopause, okay, the entire accounts of the entire life, whatever you have eaten,
Yeah.
okay, then your balance sheet is created, right?
Amazing. Hmm.
In case of men, they do not have this luxury. Another very interesting thing, of course, there is no research to this, but I have a hunch that these young men who are actually getting heart attacks,
Hmm.
okay, even teens and college going students are getting heart attacks, right? I have a hunch that these are the people who are actually skipping a lot of their meals. It is not because of cholesterol or obesity, but it is because of weakness that they get these heart attacks. So one of my talks, one of my co-speaker was a senior cardiologist of Hyderabad of a very big multi-speciality hospital. So over lunch, I was asking him, "Sir, you must be seeing these kind of cases very regularly. Are these all people obese?" He said, "No, Nikhil, none of them are obese." So I think it would be great to understand that, even getting into such kind of things like fasting, intermittent fasting, skipping breakfast, and stuff like that, and not putting on proper body weight can lead to heart conditions, which is very dangerous. Now, for example, if somebody has diabetes, people can live up to 20, 30, 40 years with diabetes. But if somebody has a sudden drop in sugar levels, they will collapse, right? So you need to understand where the balance is. Now, similarly for men and women, women have a higher appetite as well as requirement for fatty food. Okay, because all the sex hormones, reproductive hormones are all fat based, right? So, in fact, for infertility, I have helped a lot of women, to be able to conceive just by changing a few things in their diet. It would be like, adding a lot of green foliage, like folic acid comes from green leafy vegetables, okay, which is very important for the DNA. You add vitamin E, okay, which comes from fatty food, which is also the reproductive hormone, okay,
Right.
reproductive vitamin. You add a lot of vitamin C, okay, and you reduce all the junk food so that your insulin levels and all comes down,
Right.
and your body is fit to reproduce. And God says, okay, now your body is fit to bear a healthy child, so I give you a child. Okay, again, I'm philosophizing
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
The
I
idea
understand.
is the idea is not to just have a child, but the idea is to have a healthy child, right? And have a healthy mother who can take care of that child for at least a few years, right? So once you are in that position, you conceive just like that. And
Amazing.
I have had patients whom doctors said that no, you have to undergo therapy. Even after undergoing therapy, they are not able to conceive. And then doctor says, how did this miracle happen? And you see so many IVF clinics and all that sprouting around, right? So I'm actually writing a book on infertility. It is a guidebook which will be out in probably a month's time, and very very simple tips. You make those changes and the chances are that you will be able to conceive, and it's all science based. Okay,
Amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
so there is a lot of difference, but there are a lot of basic stuff which everybody needs to do, whether it is a man or woman or any age. Okay. For example, if you don't take food which is high in fiber, okay, I mean, if you take anything without fiber, it is going to get digested very quickly and go and attack the liver. So a lot of fat gets deposited in your tummy area and the liver. You lead to fatty liver, obesity, diabetes, one step after the other, and then organ failures,
Yeah.
things like that.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
basic things are common, but there are a lot of differences where women have an advantage over men, I would say.
Fantastic. So let's now move to your book, Nikhil, The Burning Solution. And I'm going to ask all our viewers and listeners to go and check out Nikhil Chaudhary's book on Amazon, The Burning Solution. I will go and check it myself. Now, tell me a little bit about your book and what was the reason you wrote it?
So when I work with different patients, especially cancer patients or any patient who has any kind of condition, the basic concept is that a lot of people have taken antibiotics or people have undergone loose motions, or cancer patient take chemotherapy. So all these people were suffering from indigestion, constipation, or acidity, any of these stomach related problems to varying levels. Okay, and without solving this problem, I found out that it is impossible for them to follow the diet. To give you a very simple example, if there is a cancer patient who is about to start their chemotherapy, before they start the chemotherapy, they come with an idea that I'm going to change my lifestyle, I'm going to change my diet, I'm going to, win over cancer. There are so many people, so many stories I have read and things like that. The moment they go for chemotherapy, there is so much of problem in the digestive system. They are not able to eat, they are not able to pass motion, they vomit, they have gag reflex, they have headaches, breathlessness, all sorts of problem related to acidity, that they forget about cancer. For them, managing that situation becomes primary. And at that time, they're like, I'm just able to eat something, it is sufficient for me, right? So when I wanted to help these patients, okay, I mean, God has been very kind to me, because I don't know, somehow I've been able to find a lot of solutions which are not out there anywhere. Okay. For acidity, constipation, these kind of problems, I found out solutions which are so simple and so practical that anybody can do it anywhere. And when I Google, or when I go to the, social media, YouTube, wherever, or even textbooks, the kind of suggestions that are being given by all the practitioners, all the health experts, even doctors, even gastroenterologists, is exactly opposite of what works. I have had patients who have had acidity for 8 years. They have gone to all the doctors, they have taken all kinds of medicine. I have seen a patient who have even got acupuncture done. I mean, all homeopathy, Ayurvedic, everything done, it didn't work. He have even got acupuncture done for acidity.
Wow.
Okay. He got a job in Dubai. He goes to Dubai. He comes back in 15 days because he's not able to, be there. And the acidity is so much. When we started the diet, we said that you keep the medication SOS. Only if the need be, then you take, otherwise avoid it. Because acidity medicine cannot be taken for more than 14 days consecutively and more than 42 days in a year, according to the FDA. Okay?
Correct.
Now, this guy, it's been over 2 years. He has not taken a single medicine.
Wow.
Okay, from day one of the diet. Okay. And when I say that, we try to heal acidity, what I mean is there is no test, right, you can do to find out whether the acidity is healed or not.
Correct.
So there are certain markers for me. Number one is you do not require any medication. Number two, you do not have any symptoms of acidity, whether it is the morning migraine, or whether it is burping, belching, whether it is fluctuation in BP, whether it is nausea, vomiting, any of those things. The third thing is you are able to eat everything you want.
Okay.
The idea is that, okay, there is a choice between healthy and unhealthy food, right? That you should make, that I should eat this and I should not eat this.
Yeah.
But it should not be a compulsion that I cannot eat this because if I eat this, I will have acidity. That should not be the case. So even that, all my patients, they're like able to eat everything. In fact, we started a diet for a patient in Calcutta a week ago. He was even hospitalized for a week. He was having a lot of problems. There is gastric erosion and stuff like that. Within a week, he's completely fine. He has not taken a single medicine. And day before yesterday, he even went out and had pizza. And there was no problem, absolutely. It was like a dream for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So people should be able to eat everything without causing acidity, but it is a matter of choice what they should eat and they should not eat. And finally, the person should be able to fast only by drinking water for at least 36 hours. If you are able to do all of these four things, then I say that you are relatively cured of acidity. Of course, you cannot be immune to acidity. It's like diabetes, right? You can reverse your diabetes, but you start eating sweets, it will come back. Right? So you need to keep some precautions. And I think it is the easiest diet in the world. You can heal your acidity by eating anything and everything under the sun. Okay.
Nice.
But you need to do it in a proper format. Okay. So the idea was to help these people, and without focusing on healing acidity, you cannot go on any kind of a diet.
Right.
For example, if I want to give my cancer patients, if I want to put them only on vegetables for a day, or I want to put them only on water for a day, or I want to eat them certain types of food, I don't want to eat them certain types of food, that is only possible if they're eating, right? Or if they're able to be without eating, right? Otherwise, it's impossible. So the idea of the book was coming from there. When I got into writing the book, I went into statistics. I realized that it's a huge problem. 50% of urban population of the world suffers from it. Insurance claims for only acidity related medication US alone is $14 billion.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
I think, and the book is written in a very, very simple layman language. Some of the best reviews that I got for my book was some of at least 5 people I know said that I finished reading the book in one go.
Amazing. Amazing. No, I'm going
I
to
think
check it out myself. So, Nikhil, based on your own vast understanding of the field of nutrition, what would you say are 3 lessons you would want our viewers and listeners to take away?
so. I think a couple of things that I really highly recommend is that first thing and the most important thing is if you want to eat anything,
Hmm.
just put a test
Hmm.
that can you buy that material from a farmer?
Hmm.
If the answer is yes,
Hmm.
then you go ahead and eat it. If
Hmm.
the answer is no, then
Hmm.
try to avoid it. It is
Okay.
not necessary that you go and buy it from a farmer. You can buy it online, you can buy it from a
Yeah.
supermarket, but the question is whether you can buy it from a farmer. Example,
Hmm. Hmm.
you can buy tomato from a farmer, you can't buy a ketchup.
Hmm.
You can buy sugar cane from a farmer, you can't buy sugar.
Hmm.
You can buy oranges from a farmer, you can't buy orange juice.
Hmm.
You can buy green moong dal, lentils from a
Yeah.
farmer,
Hmm.
you can't buy polished. You
Hmm.
can't buy white rice, you can buy black rice.
Hmm.
Okay, so these are simple tests to let you know that what is natural, what you can buy means buy directly from a farmer and whether
Hmm.
it is healthy or not.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
reason why I'm saying this is if you look at a whole grain, it has fiber, it has more than 100 phytonutrients, including vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. But a
Hmm.
polished grain will have nothing but either only proteins
Hmm.
or carbohydrates.
Hmm.
So that is only going to bulk your body more.
Yeah.
Okay? It is not going to help you detox. That is
Hmm.
point number one.
Hmm.
Point number two is you need to focus on sleeping.
Hmm.
Okay? You need to sleep on time and sleep enough.
Yeah.
One of the things that I can suggest for this is whenever you make a to-do list,
Hmm.
mention the time it takes for each and every item that you do.
Hmm.
That will help you understand that how much time you have in a day and what things are possible, what are not.
Yeah.
So that you do not extend your day till late evenings and early mornings.
Hmm.
Okay. The third and the I think equally important, the sleep is also important because
Yeah.
your liver detoxifies in the night. Okay.
Hmm.
The third and the most important thing also would be to get enough sunlight and
Hmm.
enough earth.
Hmm.
So when you are getting sunlight,
Hmm.
when the sunlight falls on your skin, cholesterol gets converted into vitamin D.
Correct.
Vitamin D is very important for your bones and it is also highly anti-cancerous.
Hmm.
Okay, contrary to the belief that sunlight causes cancer,
Hmm.
almost 50% of cancers can be avoided if people take 20 minutes of sun bath every day.
Hmm.
It is that powerful. And earthing. Earthing is when you're walking bare feet on the ground,
Hmm.
you're connected to the ground, either grass or mud or sand, anything. So that actually reduces the voltage of your body,
Hmm.
which actually helps you to heal.
Amazing.
So it's like Mother Earth and Father Sun. You
Hmm.
get the blessing of both the parents. Sleep well, eat well. I think
Amazing.
more than sufficient.
Amazing. Amazing. And on that note, Nikhil, and your wonderful lessons, I love the first one, which say that run the test of can you buy whatever you want to eat from the farmer. Second, you said was which is so important, focus on sleeping and make sure you sleep on time and sleep enough. And the third one is what you said was Father, Son, and Mother Earth, get enough of both of them. Thank you so much for speaking to me about your own amazing journey. Thank you for talking to me about nutrition in so much detail, about men and women and how their nutrition needs differ. And thank you for speaking to me about your book, The Burning Solution.
It
Thank
has
you
been
again and
a
good luck.
pleasure. It has been a pleasure, Ashutosh, and you are a great guy. I mean, it was a great learning from you as well. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.